gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of the colors. Then please remain standing as UW-Stevens Point Music Education major Shelley Bittner, who receives her Bachelor of Music degree today, sings our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated.
Good morning. I'm Bernie Patterson, and it's my honor to serve as Chancellor of the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point. On behalf of the faculty and staff of this fine university, I want to welcome you to the 2011 winter commencement. But I want to begin with a special thank you to Shelley Bittner and the concert band under the direction of Assistant Professor Brandon Caldwell. If you felt a tear in your eye as Shelley performed our national anthem, you were not alone. What an outstanding job by our music department. Thank you very much. Well, we're gathered today for this commencement, for this graduation. It doesn't just happen by itself. You look around, you think, well, you pop up a stage and put some flags up there and order some flowers and you're done. It actually takes 3 days to assemble this, to put it together. And I want to recognize those who've made this happen. Brittany Rosman leads this effort with her colleagues in the Office of University Relations and Communications, but it stretches all the way across our campus. Our facility services people, our IT department, literally over 100 staff members work for 3 straight days and into the evening to make this possible for us today. So I want to say a big thank you to them as well. We also want to extend the warmest of welcomes. It was 18 degrees when I got up this morning. To our guests today, to the parents and to the relatives and the friends and all the supporters of our graduates. There are 594 graduating seniors today, and in large measure, they're here and they have succeeded because of your sacrifices and your help and your support. Graduates, earning a college degree is a major milestone in your life. Few of you reach this point alone. There have been those around you who have helped, who have supported you, who have provided financial assistance, encouragement. There are parents who sacrificed so they could help you with the tuition, and if they couldn't do that, rest assured you were in their prayers. Husbands and wives often make do dinners, as I call them, because you had a term paper to write. Younger brothers missed playing those video games with you because you had to study. Older sisters probably missed times you shared together because you had to prepare for that test. And your best friends missed hanging out with you because you had to finish that research project. Well, I think it's most appropriate for us to acknowledge their efforts. So there's going to be a little audience participation here. Audience, if you're able, I want to first ask the parents and the step-parents of our graduates to please stand and remain standing. So if you're a parent or a step-parent of one of our graduates, please stand up. And please stay standing for just a minute. If you're a grandparent or a great-grandparent and are able to do so, please stand. If you're a brother or a sister of one of our graduates, please stand. And now the husbands and the wives and the children, or perhaps grandchildren of our graduates, please stand. Aunts and uncles, nephews and nieces, please stand. Will all the relatives and supporters of our graduates please stand up? If there's anybody seated, all right, please hold tight for just a minute. There's one other group here that I think had something to do, graduates, with your success, and that's our faculty and staff. So I'm going to ask them to stand as well. All right, graduates, I want you to look around. I want you to look forward. I want you to look behind you, to your left and to your right. I want you to look deep inside yourself. And I want you to take a moment to remember those who are not here, who cannot be here, those who you wanted to see you graduate, and now that may be impossible. I want you to think about what the contributions these loved ones have made to your life and to your success. So graduates, it's time to say thank you, and I want them to hear you. On your feet, stand up, a standing ovation for all these loved ones. They can't hear you. Outstanding, outstanding. Thank you very much. You may be seated. Thank you. Just when you thought you were settled in, right? My wife, Cinda, who I see sitting right down here, she was the one that made sure I had matching socks this morning. I told you it takes a lot of people to make this graduation happen. Cinda tells me that I'm probably the most uninformed person about pop culture she's ever met. So graduates, I want you to know that I'm not completely checked out. So I know you have those mobile devices, those cell phones, those smartphones, and you've got them with you. I know you do. I know you're texting the person 3 rows over. Can you believe what Billy did last night? So you think I'm going to tell you to turn them off. Well, life's full of surprises. I'm going to tell you to take them out, get them out of your pocket, get them out of your purse. You have to pull up that gown, get them out of your back pocket. Let me see them. Have you got them? Hold them up. Hold them up. I know they're out there. I know they're there. Okay, yep. Okay, it's like candles. It's like holding up a candle. This is what I want you to do. I want you to send a text, and I want it to say this. This may be your last instruction as a student. I want you that text to say, "Dear Mom," or Dad, or whomever, "I love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you." So while you're doing that, I'm going to introduce the platform party because you know them already, so you're not going to miss a thing. But our guests haven't met them, and so I want you to know the leadership of this university because they work night and day, just like our faculty and staff do, to make this the best learning experience there possibly can be for our students. So would you please hold your applause until I have introduced them all, and then we'll recognize them. But I want to begin with Christine Thomas, the Dean of the College of Natural Resources. Christopher Sermo, Dean of the College of Letters and Science. Greg Deemer, Vice Chancellor for Business Affairs. Al Thompson, Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs. Kathy Binger, Interim Vice Chancellor for University Advancement. Greg Summers, Interim Provost and Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs. The remainder of the platform party will be introduced as we move through the program, but please say thank you to these administrators. Thank you. Thank you. Graduates, commencement symbolizes many things. It does symbolize the end of your undergraduate experience, and that's okay. All things do come to an end at some point. But it's more a beginning, a commencement. There are feelings of sadness in some cases, feelings of anxiety, feelings of exhilaration. But most likely, you have all these feelings rolled up together today as you think about this ceremony and what it means in your life. It is a very, very proud time for your parents and your loved ones. And it's equally a proud time for our faculty and our staff who've gotten to know you over the years and have encouraged you and mentored you along the way. So today, we're going to celebrate this day together. And so to do so, I want to bring to the podium now our Provost, Greg Summers, who's going to introduce the other distinguished members of the audience and members of the graduating class. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chancellor Patterson, and congratulations, graduates. It is our outstanding faculty of this university who are primarily responsible for determining academically who will join the ranks of our graduating class today. I want to thank both our retired and emeritus faculty and staff members and our current teaching faculty and staff members for their leadership and dedication to teaching, research, and community service. Will our retired, emeritus, and current faculty and staff members stand, please, and let us recognize you. We appreciate your continuing support of UW Stevens Point. Please stand. Please give them a round of applause. You may be seated. I would also like to thank specifically the faculty members from the College of Letters and Science and the College of Natural Resources who are serving as marshals today. I'd like them to stand as well as I call their names. Our Grand Marshal for today's ceremony is John Houghton. John is Associate Dean and Professor of Forestry. Our faculty marshals include Don Guay, Associate Professor of Paper Science and Engineering, and Sarah Pogel, Associate Professor of English. Our student marshals include Kristen Flores, Assistant Professor of Natural Resources, and Tim Kraus, Assistant Professor of Computing and New Media Technologies. Eric Anderson, Professor of Wildlife, will read the graduates' names, and Karen Biasca, Professor of Paper Science and Engineering, will be announcing today. Thank you all for your help with this ceremony. As part of this occasion, we give special recognition to those students who have truly excelled both in and out of the classroom. And today I am pleased to introduce several groups of our outstanding graduating seniors. We will begin with a member of the Army ROTC program who will be commissioned as a second lieutenant in the United States Army later today. This student has completed leadership and military courses in addition to his required courses. He is majoring in computer information systems and will be graduating with a Bachelor of Science degree. His parents are Calvin Hagan and Julie Sandrock, and his hometown is Stevens Point. Will Gregory S. Hagan please stand and be recognized? Gregory, thank you. Congratulations. You may be seated. Now, I would like to recognize members of our 2011 graduating class who have received the Chancellor's Leadership Award. Will the Chancellor's Leadership Award recipients please stand and remain standing while I comment on the award? Please stand. The Chancellor's Leadership Award honors those graduating seniors who have demonstrated significant leadership, have provided meaningful campus and community service, and have shown a commitment to personal growth throughout their careers at this university. The names of these outstanding students are listed in the commencement program. Congratulations to each of you, and thank you for your leadership at this university. Will Phi Kappa Phi members now please stand? Phi Kappa Phi is a national honor society that encourages superior scholarship in all academic disciplines and recognizes those persons of good character who have excelled in scholarship. The names of these outstanding students are also noted in the commencement program. Congratulations to each of you. You may be seated. Members of another group of outstanding students are recognized as recipients of the Academic Honors Award. The faculty has established a program of academic honors to recognize undergraduate students for outstanding academic achievement. Graduation honors are awarded on the basis of grade point average for all courses attempted. There are 3 levels of academic honors: cum laude, magna cum laude, and summa cum laude. Will those students graduating with an overall grade point average of 3.5 to 3.74 please stand? These students are graduating cum laude. Congratulations to each of you. You can be seated. Will those students graduating with an overall grade point average of 3.75 to 3.89 please stand? These students are graduating magna cum laude. Congratulations. Please be seated. Among this morning's graduates, there are 5 students at this ceremony who have earned a grade point average of 3.9 or above, a summa cum laude designation. I will read their names in alphabetical order, and please stand as I read your name. Ross Dudzik, Talisha Joseph, Erin Kennery, Marcy Mahako, and Richard Parmentier. Please join me in congratulating these outstanding students. You may be seated. Please welcome once again Chancellor Bernie Patterson.
Thank you, Provost Summers. Well, now it's my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker today. We are honored to have as our winter commencement speaker Mr. Mark Bradley, a member of the University of Wisconsin System Board of Regents. A longtime resident of Wausau, Regent Bradley is a shareholder and the president of Ware law firm, concentrating in the areas of advising family businesses, estate planning, and trust administration. He is a co-author of Eckhart's Workbook for Wisconsin Estate Planners and a frequent lecturer on estate planning for continuing legal education programs. Mark began serving on the Board of Regents in 2003 and served 2 terms as its president. He has served as chair of the Regents Business, Finance, and Audit Committee. He is a member of the National Leadership Council of the American Association of Colleges and Universities and the Marshville Clinic National Advisory Council. He earned his undergraduate degree at the University of Wisconsin-Madison and his law degree from the University of Wisconsin Law School. And he and his wife, Ann, have 4 adult children. Now, that's the end of the official bio, as I obtained it from Mark's office. But now for the rest of the story, as Harvey used to say. Graduates, this may be the first time you've met Mark Bradley, but I can tell you this, he has been in your corner every minute along the way that you've been at UW-Stevens Point or anywhere in this university system. There's not a person I know in this state that has worked harder for higher education. He's traveled all over the state, to Madison more times than he'd ever like to remember. 0 salary for doing all of this. He does it for the love of this state and for the love of this university system, and because he is deeply, deeply concerned and interested in your success. You could not ask for a better spokesperson, warrior in defense of higher education than Mark Bradley. Please help me welcome him to the podium.
Well, thank you very much, Chancellor Patterson, and thank you, members of the faculty and academic staff, and parents, and honored guests. And I especially want to thank you, the graduates, for giving me the privilege to join you for these commencement ceremonies. I've been thinking a lot about you graduates. As a matter of fact, this morning, when I was shaving, my wife heard me say, "Ouch!" And she came to the door and she said, "Sweetheart, are you okay?" And I said, "Well, yes, I think I've been concentrating so much on this speech that I cut myself shaving." And she said, "Well, if I could offer a suggestion, why don't you concentrate more on your shaving and cut the speech?" But you don't have to worry. In the words of King Henry VIII to each of his 6 wives, I won't keep you long. I'm going to take my lead this morning from a visionary leader who once graced the hallways and walkways of this university. His name was Lee Sherman Dreyfus, for whom the Dreyfus Center on this campus was named. Lee Dreyfus was a professor of communication arts, president and later chancellor of this university, president of Century Insurance Company, governor of the state of Wisconsin, superintendent of public instruction for the state of Wisconsin, and a member of the University of Wisconsin System Board of Regents. He later became a successful motivational speaker. My younger brother, James Bradley, who converted his history degree into being a successful author, met up with Governor Dreyfus at an airport. So here were these 2 cheeseheads talking about what you need to do to be successful on the speaking circuit. So Professor Dreyfus was sitting there lecturing my brother James. He said, "I'm telling you, I don't care who you're talking to, I don't care what the subject is, you've got to talk about 3 things and 3 things only. People are only going to be able to understand 3 things. And he said, "Do you know why people only will understand 3 things?" And my brother said, "No, why?" He said, "Because they're only able to understand 3 things. That's why." So, heeding the advice of Wisconsin's version of the great communicator, I would like to offer you 3 things and 3 things only for your consideration. 1, I want you to forget. 2, I want you to remember. And 3, I want you to savor a special teaching moment that occurred here in your experience at UW-Stevens Point. First, I'm here to tell you that you can pretty much forget just about all of the specific information that you had to learn to pass tests here at the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point. Now, why do I say that? You've been working so hard to get all that information into your brains, and I'm telling you, you can forget it. The reason is because the specific information that you had to learn to pass a test is likely to be irrelevant as you get into whatever job you're going to get into, as even you get into your graduate school program, if that's the path you're going to take. We live in a rapidly changing world. At the time of Christ, the base of human knowledge changed or doubled about every 10,000 years. And by the time of the American Revolution, it doubled about every 1,000 years. And by the year 1900, the knowledge base of the world was doubling about every 100 years. By 1950, it had doubled again. And just 10 years later, in 1960, it had doubled again. And now with the digital revolution in communications, the knowledge base of the world doubles about every 18 months. And that leads me to my second point. I just told you to forget about the specifics, and now I'm telling you to remember the big picture. As you leave here, remember why you came here in the first place. It wasn't, I don't think, to cram as much information into your brains as possible. You came to this university, I hope, to acquire the knowledge and the skills that will make you fulfilled as a person, successful as an individual, and as a contributing member to our society. So what is this knowledge? What are these skills that I'm talking about? Well, as Chancellor Patterson mentioned, I have the privilege of serving on the National Leadership Council for the Association of American Colleges and Universities. In a national survey of employers, we asked employers from small companies, mid-sized companies, large companies, and we said, what do you expect of our graduates in a 21st century economy? Now, of course, in some cases, you have to have the right major. If you're going to be a nurse, if you're going to be a teacher, if you're going to be an engineer, you have to pay attention to your major. But I've got some very good news for you English majors and those of you who chose to study history and music and art. Because according to the people who are doing the hiring, your long-term professional success will depend far more on the fact that you attended a university like UW-Stevens Point, where you acquired the essential learning outcomes for success in this rapidly changing workforce. Listen to what the employers said. First of all, they told us that they expect you to have the ability to work well in teams, to collaborate, to give them the benefit of a variety of perspectives. Why? Well, do you think it's because it makes them feel good to see you sitting around a table getting along with everybody? No, that's not the reason. It's because it affects their bottom line. Who are the customers that these companies are trying to get to buy their products or buy their services? Increasingly, these are people from different parts of the country. These are people from different countries altogether. People with different customs, people with different cultural perspectives, people who have different ways of expressing themselves, and people who have different ways of approaching the solution to a problem. So, if you don't have an appreciation for Chinese courtesy, or Mexican machismo, or Iranian indirectness, or Swedish subtlety, you just might blow the deal. And that's the reality of the global marketplace. And that's why UW-Stevens Point is dedicated to diversity in its student body, in its faculty and academic staff, and its career leader, in its campus leaders. And that's also why UW-Stevens Point encourages you to have a study abroad experience and to study a second language. What we're trying to do is ensure that your educational experience will more closely mirror the kind of experience you're going to have in the outside world. Employers also told us that they expect you to have an understanding of science and technology and how these subjects are used in a real-world setting. Now, whether or not you're a math or a science major, they expect you to have the ability to understand statistical relationships and relevancy. That's why this university asked you to take math courses or maybe statistics courses, even if you thought at the time that it was irrelevant to your major field of study. It was not. Those courses were all part of equipping you for a job in a modern economy. Employers also told us that they expect you to be able to communicate clearly. They're not interested in your email skills and your texting skills and your tweeting skills. They're interested in your ability to use the King's English to get your ideas across clearly. And that's why at this university you were asked to give talks, to prepare papers, so that you could get the habit of mind of clearly communicating, both orally and in writing. Employers are also looking for people who are adaptable, who can apply the knowledge and the skills in new settings. Here's what one CEO said in the survey: "We can always provide the technical training people need to work for our company. But because our systems and our technology are changing so rapidly, we need people who can think and who can adapt. And because," he said, "we move people in and out of our offices around the world, we need people who understand other cultures and appreciate different approaches to problem solving." Remember that rate of change I was talking about? The data suggests that people now entering the workforce will have, on average, 10 different jobs or careers in their working lifetimes. 10. It's a real-world case of Charles Darwin's survival of the fittest. Only those who can adapt in this rapidly changing world are going to survive and thrive. But if you're a pointer, you're not going to have trouble with that. I see evidence of the adaptability of pointers every day in my job as head of the Ware law firm. We have 45 lawyers. We have about another 80 staff people. We're located in Wausau and Eau Claire. And if you looked at that entire group of attorneys, you'd find the highest paid attorney in that group happens to be a pointer. His name is Lon Roberts. Now, he's not doing much of anything from what he did when he first got out of law school. He started out with pencils and papers and a telephone, and then came a fax machine, and then came the internet, and then came digital files, and then came the need for clients who said, "But I need a contract that's going to work in Mexico because we're buying things there," or "We are now exporting to Brazil," or "We now have a deal going on in China," or "We need to have something that's going to work with our European suppliers and also people in the United States." Throughout his entire career, the key to Lon Roberts' success has not been the knowledge that he came out of law school with. He would tell you it was that broad-based liberal education, those critical thinking skills, the clear communication skills that he got right here at UW-Stevens Point. I'll give you another example. The chief operating officer of our firm is also a pointer. His name is John Lane. I said, "John, when you got out of UW-Stevens Point, what did you think you were going to do?" "Well, I was going to be in hospital administration," he said. "In fact, that was my first job." I said, "Well, you're not in hospital administration now." No. Then I moved on to insurance company administration. But when the company bought the company I was working for, they said, "If you want your job, you'll have to move to Massachusetts." And I wanted to stay in central Wisconsin. So I had to package up my skills, and I had to put together a resume, and I had to go around applying for jobs where I could show people that I did have organizational skills, I did have management skills, I did have clear communication skills. And he ended up being the chief operating officer of the Ware law firm. Now, by the way, last week that non-attorney operating officer in our law firm, got a $15,000 bonus because of the good job he did in making us profitable and keeping us organized. I'll give you a third example. Diana Resch, another pointer. I said, Diana, when you left the UW-Stevens, or when you went to UW-Stevens Point, what did you think you were going to do with your degree? Oh, she said, I was going to be a med tech. I said, you're not a med tech. No, in my sophomore year, she said, I fell in love with history and the humanities. And then I went and got my teaching certificate. I said, but you're not a teacher. No, I started out being a teacher. My husband runs a large dairy farm, and I was involved in keeping the books. So I worked with the attorneys and I worked with the accountants, and I said to myself, I can do that stuff. So she went to paralegal school. And now she happens to be one of the key people in maintaining client relationships. She's organized. She's adaptable. She has taken all of these skills that she got and the knowledge she got at UW-Stevens Point, and she has worked her way through 3 different careers, and each time very, very successfully. Now, any university can have classrooms, laboratories, computers. The differentiating characteristic, of course, about what happens in those classrooms is the quality of the faculty and academic staff who have dedicated their lives to making you better. If you've come from a different university, you know that the faculty and academic staff here are special. And if you go on to a different university, you're going to look back and you're going to realize that the faculty and academic staff here are special. There are lots of rules at a university, but there's no rule that says you can't write a thank you note to some professor who has made a difference in your life with a special teaching moment. I want you to savor that moment, reflect on it, and if you're inclined, say thank you. Now, as for me, the teaching moment that I savor the most happened in my freshman year. It was in introductory zoology. The professor was Professor Ivankovich. It was in a huge lecture hall, aisles from the back leading down to where Professor Ivankovich presided. Now, I just needed this class for 3 science courses, but the student next to me, his name was Michael Brennan, he believed that he needed an A in this zoology class. His father was a doctor. His grandfather had been a doctor, and he was determined that he was going to be a doctor. So he was obsessed with getting an A in this class. He studied more than anybody else, and came the day of our final exam. He got a good night's sleep the night before. He came prepared, having had a healthy breakfast. He had 2 sharp number 2 pencils and a spare eraser. And in walks Professor Ivankovich, and he walks all the way down this long aisle, and he stands there in front of the class, and he proceeds to walk to each student's desk, and he put 1 sheet of paper on each student's desk. Now, on that sheet of paper were 12 boxes, and in each box was a diagram of a bird's footprint. And at the top of that sheet of paper, it said, identify each bird by genus and species. Well, Mike Brennan looked at that, and he went into a panic. He thought, did I miss a class? Were 2 pages stuck together? I've never seen this before. And he just worked himself into a lather. Well, finally, he got up, and he walked all the way down the aisle, and he stood in front of Professor Ivankovich. And Professor Ivankovich looked up at him, and he said, may I help you? He said, this is ridiculous. Who ever heard of identifying birds by looking at their footprints? I'm not going to take this test. And Professor Ivankovich said, young man, I suggest you return to your seat and complete this exam, which counts for 30% of your final grade. And Mike Brennan just lost it, and he said, this is ridiculous. I'm not taking the test. And he threw the sheet of paper right at Professor Ivankovich. Mike Brennan turned around. He walked all the way up the aisle. He got to the back of the room. He had his hand on the doorknob. He was just about to open the door to leave, and Professor Ivankovich looked up and he said, young man, what's your name? And Mike Brennan turned around, he lifted his foot up high, and he said, you figure it out. That's the moment that I savor the most from my experience. You might have others. Thank you very much, and good luck.
Thank you, Mark, for your message to our graduates and how to follow you after that. I don't know. But I'm here today to introduce our winter 2011 class speaker, Talisha Joseph. This is quite an honor to introduce her. Teal is a wildlife ecology research and management major from Crystal Falls, Michigan, and the daughter of Monica and Jeff Joseph. Could Monica and Jeff, would you please stand to be recognized? Thank you. Teal is preparing herself and has prepared herself for the future in her career. And let me show you and tell you a few things that she's done. I probably have not captured everything that she's doing. She's been very active in the natural resources student organizations. She was the president of the UW Stevens Point chapter of the Wildlife Society, as well as a project leader, conference chairperson, and liaison, taking part in many research and volunteer projects. As a member of the Student Law Enforcement Association, she helped protect spawning salmon from exploitation. She was also a member of the Women in Natural Resources and served on the Student Conduct Board. She has already worked for the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources as a recreational safety officer, deputy conservation warden, park ranger, and warden intern as a peer advisor for her college as well. For her efforts, Teal was named Wisconsin chapter of the Wildlife Society Student of the Year, the 2011 Outstanding College of Natural Resources undergraduate student, Devils Lake State Park Limited Term Ranger of the Year, a Chancellor's Leadership Award winner, and she's also earned the highest honors and won many scholarships. Teal will begin her job as a game and fish warden in Wyoming. I forgot the name of the town. Sheridan, yes, Sheridan. So upon graduation, and Sheridan is a beautiful city. So I welcome her with the idea that she needs to take a windbreaker and a number of cowboy shoes. At this time, would you please welcome Talisha Joseph to give our speech.
Thank you, Vice Chancellor Thompson, for the introduction. It is my honor and privilege to speak on behalf of my graduating class of 2011. I will not lie to you, when Vice Chancellor Thompson offered me the opportunity to speak at this ceremony, I had an instantaneous and terrifying flashback to my very first day of college when I walked into a Communications 101 discussion. My professor, probably like yours, said in the next 16 weeks, I'll be giving you many of the tools you need to be a very professional public speaker. This was followed by a short activity where we had to introduce one of our classmates in front of the class. Let's just say that this didn't go so great for me. Actually, it was probably the worst speech I've ever given. Throughout the semester, before every speech, I thought about that experience. Dreams about it caused me night sweats, and I would shake nervously hours before my next speech. But as time has gone on, my equally embarrassing, great, and stressful and fun college experiences have blocked that experience out. As I left Vice Chancellor's office, I had to laugh at myself because I had not thought about that class in years, and here I was, like all of you, so close to the last day of my college career, and experience from my very first day of class was rearing its head once more. But that is what graduation weekend is all about, reminiscing about the great and not so great memories we have had from this time that we call college. Each one of us will have a unique memory of our graduation. Hopefully mine is one of redemption, so here it goes. I have a college friend who always said that all he needed to be happy in life were the 3 Bs. The 3 Bs were birds, because he's a budding ornithologist, bowling, he's an amateur, but since he's not here, we can't really judge him for that, and a fine brew, which of course was Hamm's or Old Milwaukee. The 3 Bs have changed from time to time, but nonetheless, the concept remains the same. If you have the 3 Bs, life is great. I cannot help but think how awesome it would be if success following graduation was as simple as the 3 Bs concept. The definition of success is not the same for everyone, just like happiness, nor should it be. But I have tried to develop a short list of Bs that I think we should all aim for achieving as we graduate. I think each of these Bs we could use in everyone's unique formula for success. The first is be generous. you may be thinking, be generous. We've been eating ramen noodles for the last 5, 4, maybe 6 years. We've looked in every nook and cranny for the last quarter so that we can actually dry our laundry. With what money do we have the ability to be generous? But what I mean is that we should be generous with our knowledge. We are leaving this institution with so much knowledge. Many of your professors, like in my Com 101 class, told us at the beginning of each semester, I'll be giving you some of the tools you need to be successful in the career that you desire. If you think about the number of classes that we have taken, the hours we have put into studying, we should have about a tool shed of knowledge by now. For some of us, there may be so many tools in there that sometimes I fear I've lost some of those tools. But nonetheless, we are each leaving here with a unique set of skills. The worst tendency we could have with this knowledge is to keep it to ourselves. In some instances, I believe people are taught to hoard their knowledge to achieve power. But I assure you the most powerful and beautiful tendency we can have as we leave UWSP is to share what we know and what we have learned with others. At the same time, we should try to maintain a willingness and eagerness to learn from others. The next is be connected. We are living in a time when being connected is synonymous with sending a text, Facebook chatting, or updating your Twitter. But we should strive to be involved and connected with our communities. I do not necessarily mean that we should be connected in the way that when you walk into the local bar, you can say, I'll have the usual. I mean, we should seek out classes to take, volunteer opportunities, leadership opportunities, and organizations or clubs to get involved in. This community connection will make us feel good about ourselves, relieve stress, keep us active, introduce us to new interests, and allow us to meet new people. Being connected to your communities could be the most rewarding investment that you make. Be inspired. I'm under the impression that the purpose of a class speaker is to inspire their class, so I'm kind of using this as an insurance policy in case it doesn't inspire you. This is an innately difficult task in that each and every one of us is very different. Different people or different topics inspire each one of us. I urge everyone to find something or someone that you're inspired by. Attend classes or seminars taught by that person or about that topic, or maybe join an organization that has a mission that inspires you. Inspiration can make us passionate, energized, learn a lot about ourselves, and can motivate us to do great things. Who knows, maybe waking up in our parents' basement every day will inspire us to send out one more job resume so that we can get that job that we really like. Be tenacious. I think the best compliment a person can get is you're a real go-getter. We should constantly challenge ourselves. We should strive to stay goal-oriented. We have to have high expectation for ourselves and give ourselves time to achieve our goals, but not so much time that we lose sight of what our goals actually are. We should maintain the belief that we can do anything that we set our minds to. Tenacity can not only come from a repetition of choices, it is not a momentary action. After you leave here today, give all that you have into making each one of your dreams come true, and do not quit going after it until that dream is reached. Be the person with the right attitude. Knowledge and hard work attribute a lot to a person's success, but success cannot come out with having without the right attitude. Your attitude affects how you perceive the world and the way that people perceive you. When you expect the best to happen, maybe it will. Lastly, be thankful. You should not leave this campus before thanking your friends, families, professors, coworkers, employers, and anyone else who has helped you succeed throughout your college years. There's one B you should never commit. You should never be long-winded when your peers want to get their diplomas, so I promise I'm almost done. We have all been blessed with the opportunity to be a UWSP pointer for the last 4 or 5 or more years, and we will never lose this. And for the first time today, we each get to be called a UWSP alumnus. As I look around, besides those of you already sleeping, I see a lot of excitement on your faces. And I think I see even more looks of relief on our parents' faces. Well, class of 2011, that's probably because we've made it. You probably heard this when you graduated high school. You may hear it again when you get your first full-time job. For us CNR majors, we'll probably hear it again when we make our first million. But today, you should celebrate this great accomplishment because you've earned it. Thank you for allowing me to speak on behalf of the graduating class of 2011, and once again, congratulations.
Good morning. I'm Christine Thomas, Dean of the College of Natural Resources. At this time, I'd like to ask the family of Travis Bellin to come to the stage. Travis was a senior in the College of Natural Resources from Eldridge, Iowa, majoring in wildlife ecology. Sadly, he was killed in an automobile accident in May. The faculty members of our college have recommended that Travis be awarded a Bachelor of Science degree from this university. Travis connected with many people during his time here, including our faculty and staff members and fellow students. And his work with Chris Brindley and the UW-Stevens Point grounds crew made our university a more beautiful place than he found it. It's my pleasure to present this posthumous degree to his parents, Gary and Wendy Bellin. We are grateful that he was a Pointer and pleased that our campus could honor his memory in this way. We extend our congratulations and our deepest sympathy to you for your son's achievements at Stevens Point. At this time, I'd like to welcome Wendy to the podium, who would like to share a few words.
I never knew how long that walk was going to be from that chair to over here. Gary and I are incredibly humbled today that the University of Stevens Point has graciously awarded our son, Travis, and most of you don't know him as Travis. You'll only recognize him by his nickname, Bones, Beline. And they've given us a unique opportunity as a parent to speak to a graduating class. That's not an honor bestowed on very many people. Thank God. It was on May 22nd that our son was killed, and we have been overwhelmed by grief. But today, it isn't about our grief. Today, it's about celebrating the accomplishments of the 594 students graduating from this college. As parents, we really do understand, and we really are so proud of each and every one of you. We understand the long hours of studying. We understand the burning of the midnight oil. And yeah, we even understand that occasional brew that may have taken place. All of you have taken the first step in securing a very bright future. And congratulations to each and every one of you for a job well done. We are confident that each one of you graduating today has been incredibly influenced by an incredible university. And we are sure that your experiences were hopefully at least half as great as Travis's were here. The University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point, it's more than a university. It's more than an institution of higher learning. And the professors here are simply more than just teachers who teach college courses. And the staff is much more than just an employee who's being paid for working. And the students here are more than just learners. How can we ever thank the professors for taking the time to get to know our son or your daughter? How can we thank them for motivating our children to be the best that they can be? And most of all, how can we thank the teachers, the professors, and the university for taking one very insecure young man, actually boy, and turning him into a self-confident young man? How do you thank a university for creating an environment for the professors and staff to be so successful at their careers? There aren't words, we've determined, but I hope every person here knows that we thank you from the bottom of our heart, and we are extremely grateful that Bones was able to spend the last 2 years of his life here with the professors, staff, and students. As you graduate today, we want you to take pride in your accomplishments, but please take the time to thank all of those who have helped you along the way. And I'm going to end with 2 thoughts. The first one is, people will forget what you said. People will forget even what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. We have no guarantee for tomorrow, as we know, so live every day like it is your last. And most of all, take the time to make memories that will outlive you. Thank you to the university and everyone here.
Well, thank you, Wendy and Gary, for coming today and accepting this degree in Travis's name. Those were very powerful words. I want you to know that Travis and your family are a part of our family at UW-Stevens Point. We are now ready to confer the degrees. Will the candidates for the master's degree please rise? Chancellor Patterson, on behalf of the graduate faculty members of the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point, it is my privilege to present the December 2011 candidates for the master's degree. The graduate faculty and I recommend that, contingent upon the completion of all degree requirements, each candidate be conferred with the master's degree and in testimony thereto be given the diploma of this university.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the University of Wisconsin System, and upon the recommendation of the graduate faculty members of this university, I confer upon you the master's degree with all the honors and privileges that pertain thereto. Congratulations.
Candidates, please remain standing. Those faculty representatives who will be participating in the hooding ceremony, please meet your candidate at the bottom of the stairs. Marshals, please escort the master's degree candidates forward.
College of Natural Resources, Master of Science in Natural Resources. Jesse D. Haney will be hooded by Kristen Flores. Dale A. Hansen. Anna L. Papperman. Jamie L. Sadorsky. Daphne M. Mays will be hooded by her advisor, Dr. Holly Petrillo. Ryan T. Anvik will be hooded by his professor, Dr. Brian L. Sloss. Kyle J. Mosel will be hooded by his professor, Dr. Daniel Iserman. Justin M. Hagland, also hooded by Dr. Iserman. Scott C. Repke will be hooded by his advisor, Dr. Timothy Jeanette.
Morning, graduates. I'm Chris Zimmerman. I'm the Dean of the College of Letters and Science. Will all candidates for degrees in the College of Letters and Science please stand? Chancellor Patterson, these candidates for the Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, or Associate degrees in the College of Letters and Science. I recommend that, contingent upon successful completion of their requirements, they receive the diploma of this university and that the appropriate degree be conferred upon each of them. Candidates, you may be seated.
Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Science in the College of Natural Resources please stand? Chancellor Patterson, these students are candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree in the College of Natural Resources. I recommend that contingent upon successful completion of the requirements, they receive the diploma of this university and that the Bachelor of Science degree be conferred upon each of them. Now, will all the baccalaureate and associate degree candidates from the wonderful University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point please stand?
That's all the baccalaureate degree candidates, yes. Yes, there's going to be a test later. Thank you, Dean. By the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the University of Wisconsin System, and upon the recommendations of the faculty members of this university, I confer upon you the baccalaureate or associate degree with all the honors and privileges that pertain thereto. Congratulations.
Candidates, you may be seated. Marshals, please escort the baccalaureate and associate's degree candidates forward by row.
College of Letters and Science, Bachelor of Arts, Lisa Marie Abbott. Catherine Marie Balliet. Andrew Bowden. Jamie Brickley. Yo Chu. Dylan Dobratz. Victoria Flanagan. Elise Gardner. Juan Gonzalez. Jessica Grange. Kara M. Hart. Courtney Hepp. Spencer Huff. Brittany Yankee. Tracy Marie Johnson. Tori Kane. Lauren Konyeski. Aaron Kennery. Cassandra Kilpinen. Ashley Kozeski. Jesse Klotz. Hannah Klusmeyer. Stacy Coles. Kevin Kress. Renee Lemieux. Shang Lor. Nicole Merrick. Brianna Mukingen. Lindsay Joe Miller. Amanda Meyer. Brittany Ann Nelson. Richard Parmenter. Leah Rafflick. Amanda Lee Schmidt. Brett Schwantes. Rebecca Simpson. Samantha Smetna. Justin Stefanski. Megan Fayes. Eleanor Tompkins. Skylar Volk. Emily Joy Venn. Karen Weatherwax. Kathleen Lynn Weber. Leanna Weikelt. Lynn Whitey. Alex Wisey, Bryce Welch, Scott Whitman, Christina Zahn, Bachelors of Science, Catherine Abraham, Anthony John Elberton, Ashley Anderson, Megan Rayleigh, Caitlin Bouchard, Mark Biesing, Alexander James Balin, Scott Beslick, Danielle Ballinger, Christina Bembenik, Krista Bembenik, Daniel Berg, Ashley Biedenbender, Kyle Brooks, Christopher Sean Budd, Jake Lee Budish, Feng Sheng, Nina Christensen, Stephen Christensen, Cash Cook, Kirk Seakosh, Jennifer Dason, Jacob Doyinski, Kelly Rose Emery, Ashley Ermeling, Brian James Finnell, Roland Flosh, Shane Gregory Foster, Scott M. Gerstel, Tina Yeti Gadawala, Andrea Gore, Robert Goodwin, Kimberly Grawl, Farron Garino, Greg Hagan, Richard Harding, Christina Hopp, Trina Howard, Megan Huck, Roswell Ingman, Chris Kadoff, Jonathan Kappingnext, Aaron Kennedy, Kyle Kitzman. Austin Colossi. Garrett Kraft. Jordan Krause. Lisa Krenz. Aaron Krieger. Joseph Katkowski. Lindsay Kios. Jonathan Land. Sarah Lagenza. Evan Leisgang. Aaron Jacob Lionheart. Justin Linzemeyer. Mark Mahoney. Audrey Meningay. Jordan Meyer. Sarah Marie Melans. Marcy Mahako. Omar Muyar. Loris Muzanuski. Lucas, excuse me. Phantom Newing. James Norby. Jessica Norstrom. Jeremiah Scott Parker. Christopher Pierenboom. Jesse Patterson. James Peth. Amy Pliska. Holly Purcell. Deanna Truman. Katie Quast. Kelly Rasmussen. Molly Ryerson. Rebecca Roblard. Kayla Robinson. Daniel Rutherford. Kathleen Ryan. Sheena Smith. Robin School. Michaela Schultz. Christopher Shaw. Scott Smith. Sydney Staffel. Emily Stark. Angela Steingraber. Andrew Swanson. Paul Sweeney. Kenneth Tesson. Marcia Tessman. Sarah Tomei. Lance Trudeau. Eric Ware. Shane Winterfeld. Danielle Witter. Candice Walasek. Tumi Yang. Daniel Zahn Jr. Aaron Zozekowitz. College of Natural Resources, Bachelor of Science. William James Amit. Julie Anderson Riddell. Emily Backus. Sarah Marie Bartlemy. Samantha Bazaar. Melissa Bamer. Adam Brandt. Molly Brocious. Timothy Bull. Jesse Bullis. Christine Burns. Andrew Butler. Benjamin Kate. Stefan Chasteen. Scott Churchill. Aaron Cole. And Jane Marie Koffenauer. Jacob Cox. Christopher Daniels. Margot Davies. Kat Dickerson. Danielle Diermeyer. Ross Duzick. Craig Eckstein. Wes Ellerson. Kimberly A. Emerson. Sarah Fisher. Matt Flintrop. Frederick Freeman. Jesse Funk. Joseph Gaber. Krista Jarretts. Rachel Gersner. Stephanie Gersmol. Casey Goldsmith. Lance Grenzo. Tyler Groh. Matthew Gunderson. Stephen Havenstein. Nicholas Hebel. Sarah Holter. Janine Howland. Joshua Jarvis. Jeffrey Thomas Johnson. Joshua Johnson. Caitlin Johnson. Talisha Joseph. Emily Kermouth. Justin Kitsero. Kyle Kossel. Andy Kramer. Brianna Kuhlman. Brendan Lane. Chad Liana. Helen Leavenworth. Matthew Levier. Thomas Lima. Thomas Charles Lyndon Muth. Corey Danger Lofty. Ashley Look. Philip Lupke. Michael Mandley. Lisa McCabe. Matt McHugh. Tyler Michaels. David Patsky. Ryan Miles. Michael Morton. Kelsey Masur. Rosa Neris. Coulter Nineheis. Matthew Pamperin. Jesse Plant. Christy Pupak. Jordan Rediker. Jason Rice. Cody Rabishki. Madeline Wrights. Jacob Richter. Nicole Reinhardt. Devin Rogers. Katie Reimer. Nicole Lynn Stanky. Eric Swanson. Eric Wallace. Joseph Weflin. Jessup Weikelt. Rebecca White. Kyle A. Woolever. Andrew Young. Max Zink. Logan Hughes. Cindy Margaret Oleksky. Brian Wild.
Graduates, you may now move your tassels to the left side of your mortarboard to signify your graduation. You can make more noise than that. Yeah! Fantastic. Well, now it's my pleasure to introduce Ray Oswald, the president of the Alumni Association Board of Directors. Ray has served on the board since 1999, just 2 years after receiving his degree at UW-Stevens Point. He is also involved in his local Milwaukee chapter and his 10th reunion year steering committee. He is a legislative advocate for UW-Stevens Point. All of you can do that. He has also chaired the Alumni Board's Communications Committee. He has helped make UW-Stevens Point one of the first UW campuses to have an online alumni community. His efforts to promote the university through Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter have kept the alumni connected and engaged with the campus and with each other. Ray works for Fiserv Incorporated in Milwaukee as Vice President for Business Solutions and Consulting. Please help me welcome Ray Oswald to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor Patterson. Greetings and congratulations to each of you from the UWSP Alumni Association. I got to tell you, it feels great to be here today. I feel honored to share this day with you, and being here has brought back so many memories of when I was in your position about 14 years ago. I was excited to begin the next chapter of my life as you all are today. I know you're eager to complete the ceremony and continue celebrating all of your many accomplishments, so I'll keep my comments brief. I mean, let's face it, we're 90 minutes into about a 2-hour ceremony, so I'm kind of your B2B, and I don't mean business to business, I'm your barrier to beer, so we'll get on with the program. Saying UWSP is a special place is really such an understatement. It's a place that changed my life, and it's also changed yours. It's a place where we learned how to learn, and we built a life-lasting foundation for personal and professional relationships. And if you're like me, UWSP was also a place where you probably paid a few more parking tickets than you ever thought you would. Honestly, this place gives me goosebumps every time I return. It's because UWSP is not just a place, it's a community. It's a family. There isn't much in life that's permanent, maybe not even the tattoo that you got your freshman year, but being a Pointer is permanent, and I'm proud to be a Pointer. Today, we're recognizing and celebrate that all of you are an integral part of the UWSP family. You're one of over 77,000 alumni of UW-Stevens Point, and you're one of the university's most important ambassadors. Our alumni collectively constitute a major force in maintaining and shaping the reputation of this university. Pointers are everywhere. In fact, there are Pointers all over in this field house today, and I don't mean those of you that are just going through the ceremony. My fellow Pointers, if you could please stand up at this time, let's give a big round of applause to our newest graduates. Thank you. You can be seated, thanks. Like I said, Pointers are everywhere, and we're a hell of a lot of fun out there in the real world, too. So there are Pointers in 110 countries around the world. In just my small circle of friends, we've literally bumped into and met Pointers on all 7 continents of the globe. Talk about Point, brag about UWSP, share all your experiences, build new relationships, and please stay connected. The value of your degree will continue to increase as more and more people learn about this great institution. Our hope at the Alumni Association is that we can help you stay in touch with former classmates and friends, as well as to meet other alumni who have graduated from Stevens Point, both to help you make your mark personally, and professionally on the state, the nation, and the world. All of our alums share memories of their years at UWSP and in turn have contributed to the success of the campus. I urge you to continue to think of yourself as a vital participant in the future of our alma mater. We always welcome your support, your involvement, and your ideas. The Alumni Association is here to strengthen the ties between you and your fellow Pointers and between your university home. You are now lifetime members of the UWSP Alumni Association, and with that you get some benefits. You can attend local alumni functions where you live. They're a good time. They provide opportunities to meet former alumni and connect with new ones that you're meeting along the way in life. You're always welcome to come back for a visit and take advantage of career services, continuing education opportunities, special events like homecoming, and many other events that are held here on campus. I ask you to please stay connected online. The Alumni Association has an online community and a Facebook page just for Pointers. Our Facebook page has grown to about 500 people in just a couple of months, and we have other solutions that are out there as well, such as about 2,200 folks that are tied in through LinkedIn, and over 5,000 registered users on the Connecting Point, which is a tool where you can find each other later in life, search by names, hometowns, maiden names, etc. There's just one of the many benefits that you can enjoy as an alumnus. The Alumni Association also offers discounts on insurances, free email forwarding addresses from a permanent uwsp.edu forwarding service, and many other benefits. So check us out online at the UWSP page. Please support the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point and assist us in recruiting high school students. Be our link to them and let us know when we can help. Please keep us informed because as a member of the association, you'll receive mailings and news about the campus from time to time. But in order for us to send that to you, we need to know how to find you. So as your information changes, you can come online at any time and update that information for the database. Lastly, you didn't get this far without a support network of friends and family, and now you have an even larger network of 77,000 alumni. So wherever your talents take you after you leave campus today, please remember that UWSP will always be your home. Come back often, and please stay in touch. And congratulations to everyone from the Alumni Association.
Thank you, Ray. It is the tradition at our university for the Chancellor to give a charge to the graduating class at the end of the ceremony, so I will do just that. But I ask the graduates, what is it that you would expect me to say to you today? You might expect me to suggest that you go out and be a leader. You might expect me to say, make the best use of your education. Or you might expect me to say, go out and make this world a better place. All of these are good thoughts. All of these are things we want to do. These are all things we want you to do. But these are the same thoughts that are being expressed across universities and commencement ceremonies throughout this country. UWSP is no ordinary university. And your experience here has been anything but ordinary. So I say to you simply this: reach out to those who are alone. Speak up for those who have no voice. Stand up for those who cannot stand. One final thought. The day will come, it will surely come, when you are confronted with an ethical dilemma. There will be no one to show you the way. There will be no instruction manual. There will be no one to lean on, no one to talk to, no one to text, no one to call, no one to ask. You will feel more alone than perhaps you ever have in your entire life. It is at that very precise moment, when it is up to you, that you will have your foundation. You will have to stand upon and lean upon and depend upon your education and your faith in God. Now go and be servant leaders. Godspeed. Congratulations to the class of 2011.
Before we leave today, we ask you to stand and join vocal performance major Allison Barrett of Verona, who received her Bachelor of Music degree today in singing our alma mater, The Purple and the Gold. She will be joined by the concert band. The words are printed on the last page of the commencement program. The audience may be seated. Marshals, please release our faculty members and graduates by row after the platform party has recessed. The audience is asked to please remain seated during the recessional. Thank you for joining us today, and safe travels.